Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. I would love to know what you are stitching and like to stitch, and if you're so inclined, maybe hit that subscribe button. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me, and we get a chance to talk cross stitch. So super exciting, yay! I have, I believe, my normal number of projects. I'm trying to think if I have any starts. Oh, I do have one start and I have a finish. So a little bit of everything. I think I'm up to, if I look, 35 finishes. I'll look afterwards when we get to it. And only about 36 or 37 starts. So we are still pretty close. I know I have a bunch of starts coming up, but when do I not? So we'll just keep trying to get those finishes done too. Before I get started showing my cross stitch, I do want to say that there was an extra video this week. Thank you to all of you who have watched it. When we did the poll, I had votes for both the flip through of the Halloween magazine, which is coming, don't worry, depending on when my house is empty, maybe next week, or the scrapbook starter pack video, and that one got the most votes, so that's the one we went with. So if you look at my videos from this previous week, it is Scrapbook Your Stitches, I don't know, something about cross stitch scrapbook starter pack. And if you want to find an easier way, you can also if you go to my main page and you go to playlists, I have one that is Scrapbook Your Stitches. So that would be the most recently dated one, would be the one to show you. Now, people said, yes, we wanted some more on this series. So I'm happy to do that. Just let me know, like, is there one? I did get one kind of request as to something specific to see, but if there's other things specific when it comes to where you're stuck with the scrapbooking your stitches, let me know. And then I can try to work videos around whatever topics they are. Okay, so that's that. Let's get started. All right, so my first piece, remember how last week I had said, I have my 4 rotational pieces that I give them each week. I rotate it out, give them 500 stitches, then go to the next one. And I do that each month so that they all get, good, 6,000 stitches a year. Well, after fish and chips, I've kind of been, once that got finished, I've been kind of just rambling along trying to figure out what the next one would be. And I think for the next few months, it just may rotate until I kind of really figure out what I want to do. Because I'm not really sure which one I want to commit and slide into that slot. So this week for that slot, I did, where is the piece? Here it is. It's Butterflies 2 from Durene Jones. So that's what it looks like, or will look like when it's finished. I am stitching the entire piece. Now I am stitching this with several friends. I'm gonna just write myself a note and say butterflies so I know who to list. But I started this with several friends, and we're all kind of doing it a little bit differently. Stitching Owl, Twitchy Stitcher, Mary Stitching Corner, Rachel Q, and I know oh gosh, I should have written down, I'm totally blanking on somebody. I can't remember. But we're all stitching it in different ways. I believe Mary and I are the 2 that are going to do the entire piece, and then everybody's doing it a little bit differently from there. But that's what mine looks like. I'm using just your regular 18 count white Aida, so nothing spectacular there, and I am using the called for DMC. I haven't changed anything. I love the colors in this one, so I didn't see any need to. And as usual with full coverage, I like to jump all around. So I know I did some pieces down here, and then I did all of this blue, and then I think I kind of worked around a little bit too. I am not one that has a deliberate plan when I do any type of full coverage stitching. Well, really any stitching, right? But full coverage, it's more noticeable. And I have a habit, I think I worked on this twice this week, broke up those 500 stitches, and so then I really kind of jump around. But even I may stitch a strand over here, and then the next strand I may say, I feel like doing some over here, and that's in the same stitching session. So I can't really say I'm ever going to have one section complete and then working down another way. I don't think so. Yeah, I know I definitely did a bunch over here as well. But so it's just fun to see. And it is really fun to watch this one come alive. Her colors are fantastic, and it's really been a joy to stitch. But I like this one for Zooms a lot of times, so I don't necessarily think I want to just kind of say, okay, once a week in a month I might work on it, or I don't know. We'll see. I may, again, like I said, just rotate around for a little bit, see what feels like it fits in that little area, and then we'll go from there. There is a hashtag. It's hashtag Stitch All the Butterflies. So if you are interested in stitching with us, please join us. And there are, I do own them. Doreen Jones has 2 other ones in that Butterflies series of different color schemes. And they're really beautiful too. So it doesn't even have to be this colored one if you don't want. If you want to do a different one, then let's go for it. Alrighty, next. This is my finish. I finished Peacock Tree by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is the original. And I did I was inspired by kind of the tealish color, but you know me in fabric. I had to do something different with the fabric. And so I did. Here it is. Oh, it's so pretty. Let me bring it up close so you can see. This is 18 Count Lovely Lizzie by Those Missing Stitches. I had to laugh. This week is definitely a Those Missing Stitches week. I don't even realize it when I do it, but some weeks you just pick projects that are all from one fabric hand dyer, and then sometimes it's like a complete mix of all of them. It's just kind of funny when I'm making the notes how it kind of, here we've got Those Missing Stitches, Bestitchme, Those Missing Stitches, Bestitchme, and back and forth it feels like. So there's a lot of those this week. I used specialty floss. I did use a variegated floss. Let me pull it out here. What is it? It is Kingfisher by Stitchy Stuff Co. So that's the color, as you can see. There is slight variegation to this one, but I also stitched it to not have maximal variegation. I wanted it very subtle. That's a lot of times how I like to do my variegation. Not always, but that seems to be what I lean towards. And I think I'm going to scrapbook this one. I think it'll be fun. I might have to turn my page sideways. It'll probably fit in an 8.5 by 11, but the page in the book will look like this. And then you just turn your head or turn the book and you can see it in full. But I just really, really adore this. I like how the colors go, and I am super excited to get this one done. It was a fun stitch. It's a complete mirror image, so it depends on whether or not you like doing that. But I really did enjoy it. I haven't done a giant Modern Folk embroidery piece yet. This one is my second kind of smallish, and then I have the Christmas one going. I do like his patterns quite a bit. I'm just not sure I want to commit to a giant one because I already have a bunch of giant pieces. So this one, I think you are seeing it as a start for some reason, because I looked last week and it's not on the video notes from last week. Maybe I started it on a Thursday, so I would have felt like it was before the video. This is Prairie Schooler, the 2025 Santa. Now, I am not stitching the words, the border, the flying snowflakes, snowball, I said that last time, I think, when I showed it, or the pile here. It's just going to be a cheeky little Santa throwing a snowball, and that's it. I don't have a name for this. This is, I have to make sure I'm holding it right. When I was getting it ready, I had it sideways, and then I got nervous. I panicked because I thought, it's not going to fit that way. Well, no, not when you hold it the wrong way. This is where I have so far. I wasn't sure. I was originally going to do something more along the lines of this, probably like a vintage country mocha or something. But I have one other one. Oh, I have it in here actually, so I can show you. I have one other one completely stitched with the blue, and with the snowflakes, it's the same color fabric, which is an unknown, unfortunately. It's in my scrap pile, 18 count. But you can see how well the white really pops on that, and I really like that. So I thought, well, let's do another one. There's obviously not as much snow, but the other colors go nice. Now the one thing I do change is the Santa faces, and I kind of do it color-wise against whatever fabric I'm doing. So I want to look up what my notes were on this one, and I'll do the Santa face the same. This actually, I know it doesn't look like much, but it's a decent number of stitches. I think I gave it a couple different stitching sessions, and so I think this one could go fairly quickly. I mean, it's a lot of chunk block stitching this time around. Yeah, it's not like some of the other years where you've got a lot of other extra stuff. So I think we could get this one, I mean, seriously, not done by the end of this month, of course, but maybe by Christmas, possibly, maybe. So maybe on the 25th, I take it out and at least do a few hundred stitches on it in each month. We'll see. So that's where it is. So that is my new start, and that continues my Christmas in July stitching. I think if I look, I have 9 pieces, 9.5, because there's a double one I'll show you shortly. We have started our Christmas in July section of the projects here that I have worked on. I still have another double project to work on, and I do have my mill hill. You knew I'd wait till the end of the month to do that, didn't you? And then that might be it. I think I've started pulling out some of them to give some more stitching time. In my book, my challenge book, I think what I did was I just listed the projects, and then I'm going to list how many stitches so that I know at the end of the month what did I end up with. Just out of curiosity. I mean, it's not for anything, just because. Now, I did pull this one out. This is going to take as long as the turkey. Cottage Garden, you get me. This is Santa's House from Cottage Garden Samplings. It was #1 in the Fabulous House series. And this, I swear I stitched a good chunk of stitching, and I didn't get out of the roof. I mean, I really, wait till you see it. You're going to be thinking, did you even do anything? And I did, I swear. Let me bend this over. Hold on a second here. Fold that a little bit. Okay, here we are. There it is. This is 18 count Frozen Lake by Bestitchme. And I thought I wanted something where the white would pop, and the white, especially in person, looks really cool on this. So I do like it. And, you know, it's kind of got that, it's called Frozen Lake. So you got that Frozen Lake, you know, North Pole vibes. I feel like that's where Santa's house would have some sort of vibe like that. I did mostly just gray, to be perfectly honest. And I didn't even quite get to the top of the roof on this side. And then I have to come over and do all that. So it's not as difficult to see as the turkey, which I've been having trouble with, Turkey Day from Cottage Garden. But it's just slow going. I have no idea how else to explain how I can do one thing. And I mean, and then really, I just did a bunch of gray. It's not even like I was changing a lot of colors. So how the 2025 Santa went so quickly this week, and then this went so slowly, clearly will not be done for Christmas time. I mean, maybe next Christmas, possibly. It'll probably go in the scrapbook. I might have, you know, a whole collection. I'm not doing all of the houses from the Fabulous House series, but I do like quite a few of them, to be honest with you. Probably like 7 or 8 of them I feel like I'd want to stitch. We'll see if this one does me in. Although I am doing the lighthouse, and that one's going a little bit faster than this one is. So, you know, there's that. I do think I know what fabric I want to use for the #2 in the series, which I think was the castle. But I want to get one of these done, whether it's Santa House or most likely Lighthouse, before I, oh, I have my pattern here from Modern Folk. I'll just stick that up there. I want to get one of them done before I start a third one, and it most likely will be the Lighthouse, because that one that's going a little bit faster. There's still a good chunk of stitching, because I have especially the whole second half of the light from the Lighthouse, which has that pattern that's, you know, you have to kind of watch your stitches, because and that's a pattern, so I can't quite fudge it as much. But so we'll see. I really would like to do some more of them, and then you know, this will probably be taking me into 2030 before I've done all the houses I want to do, but that's okay. All right, next. This one, you hear floss tubers all over the place talking about it, probably Instagrammers as well. We are all cheering Andrew, the runner stitcher, on in his marathon prep, running prep, and this is my version of what this is the piece I'm working on, if you're new. If you're not, you've seen it every single week. I'm not 100% caught up. I'm probably caught up through maybe Monday's running. So I still have a few days. I generally pick it up on Sundays and or Mondays. I did do a couple of stitching sessions on this week. And so that gets me the previous weeks. Obviously, as we gear up and get closer towards the marathon, I'll get myself a little bit more up to date. But obviously, I'll never be 100% up to date when I'm showing you, because I don't stitch before I film in the mornings. So Friday's running, whatever it is, I don't even know. I would never have gotten in. So that's Christmastown from Stitchrovia. I know that Stitchrovia has her Christmas book has just come out. I've seen different people putting up flip-throughs, and different people I know that have gotten it. So it's Stitchrovia Christmas all over the place right now. Here's mine. This one was started, I don't know if it was very end of 2020. I think it was. So I really, really, really want to have it done this year. I mean, 5 years. 5-year plan on all these stitches. They'll never get done. This one, as classic Stitchrovia, has about, well, it doesn't have about 1,000 colors. It has a lot of colors, but it has about 1,000 color changes, it feels like. So you just get going with one color and then you're switching. So it's very cool. And it looks really neat as you're finishing it, but I've gotten kind of to the part where I'm ready for it to be done, you know? I'm not quite close enough where the end is in sight, because I think I still have, I don't know if it's under 2,000 stitches. Let me see if I go to markup real quick. I have most things on Pattern Keeper. This one I did put on markup, I'm not using it the proper way probably with markup, but I can count stitches. Basically just under 1,500 I still have to do. So I'm not quite close enough where, you know, you get that push right near the end and you're like, okay, I am just going to stitch, stitch, stitch. 1,500, if it was only a couple colors, yeah, I could see. But I have so many color changes to do here. Some of what I've done, you won't necessarily see much difference, because I am slowly filling in all of the white that goes. And then I know I also did, I did some of the trees. I did some of a roof area. I filled in some of these like orangey red types of pieces, and just a whole bunch of different things here and there. But I like I said, I'm not too far behind, probably only about 4, if you count today, probably about 4 days worth of stitching. I am following the take each mileage for the week, the number, and multiply it times 10. So if it's 400 miles or 40 miles, sorry, I was going to say 400 miles a week, Andrew. I don't think you could do that. 40 miles a week, which is impressive enough. Thank you very much. That would be 400 stitches. 18 count white opal. And it's kind of cool because you can see the sparkle through my stitching a little bit. So it's really kind of neat. This one will go in the scrapbook. That was always the plan. Originally, I thought it might be like a cover, but then I got, concerned that obviously being a cover, it could get dirty and things like that. So it'll go inside. And then I just have the scrapbooks, just the plain covers without stitching on it. All right, so this next piece, there's a reason why this is the scrapbook piece I pulled out or whatever to show on the display behind me, because this is one of my fabric experiment pieces that I am doing. So let me go back and look for the piece. Here it is. Now, the original, the model piece here is shown as red. I am doing it in green. This is Cozy Christmas Cottage from Modern Folk Embroidery. I started this with Karen, Stitching Owl, last year. Karen, of course, got it done. I did not. I am thinking, and we'll see when I get to it, and I was only thinking this as I was getting things ready this morning, but I may cut this off and just go from here. That might be kind of cute. Maybe I'll do like a double border to kind of thicken it up a little bit, but not stitch this bottom part. Because I really would like to get these potentially done for this year. And if they're smaller like that, then they might make cute ornaments, as opposed to, otherwise I was probably just going to scrapbook them. So let me show you this experiment first. This was done a few years ago, and I decided that I wanted to play around with color and see how different one pattern, same exact flosses, could look on different fabrics, which is why choosing a fabric can be so much fun and really give a certain vibe. And so I stitched these at the same time so that they'd be done at the same. Scrapbooking them was really difficult because it's a whole different color scheme. I wasn't sure what to do. You know, we have our lighter blue, and then we have more of like your kind of goldish, vintagey sort of look. This is I want to say like a Plum Street. I'm not 100% sure which pattern this is. But that was the initial experiment, and I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to do some more. And so this one was a nice one. And then next week, I haven't pulled it out yet, but I have another one that I'm also doing. Same color scheme as this, except in red floss. But so that'll be next week's kind of Christmas stitching. But this is, I had it sitting on top of it, and it gave a big giant wrinkle, but that's all right. This will wash out because it is white opal 18 count. Gosh, just bright enough that it's gonna kind of completely wash out. At a distance, this is what it looks like. If I come up close, let's see, without completely, that's what it looks like. I am using a Threadworks on this one, and I can't find, if you want to know the Threadworks number, I can look it up. Somehow or other, you know how they have those little things around them that kind of keep them all contained. Somehow or other, I think I've lost it. It should be right there in the bag, but it's not. So I don't know. So this is the white opal version. Now, they're not 100% at the same amount of stitching at whatever. Both of them got stitched, and that's what I try to do each time, is give them both stitching so that they'll stay at the same amount. I'll show you this one, then I'll show them together. This one is 18 count honey from Bestitchme. So it's going to have a much more vintage vibe. But if I look at the picture, I don't think I've done any of the, yeah. So here you'd see the words Merry Christmas, and then the line would be. So, you know, the more and more I think about it, so let me bring that one up close. That's that color scheme, and let me show you together. The more I think about it, I might do that and just cut them down a little bit. I do that all the time with patterns. I don't necessarily stitch all of it. Let's see, I want to be able to show you right next to each other. Oh, I think that'll work nicely. One is taller than the other, but you get the point. But you can see there's a totally different vibe with the one that's the white opal versus the one that is the honey. Whether or not you kind of want a more vintagey look with this depends on what you want. But it's a lot of fun, and if you are nervous about changing colors of fabrics and so on, pick something really small and do a double experiment like this. So maybe it's just a small little something that you can make into a small ornament, or if you are a trading card stitcher with me, then do a double like trading card experiment or something. But play around with what you want for color schemes if you want to. It's really neat, and the original may be a vibe that is not your vibe, and once you know what things can look like or how they can change, it might be fun for you to play around with it. So this is my fabric experiment with Cozy Christmas Cottage. So this one will go away this time around, and I will pull out, I'm trying to think, let me see if I have the name of it in here. I'm blanking on what the other one is. Vintage Christmassy. You know what? I have it on Pattern Keeper, so I don't have it with me. You'll just have to wait till next week and come back and see. But I am doing exactly the same white and honey experiment on it. So that's that. We have one more Christmassy piece that I worked on for Christmas in July this week. And I decided I wanted to put some more stitches into my Sampler Holidays Christmas piece from Blueberry Ridge. Now this is the color experiment I'm doing where I really I was feeling the pink and teal vibe and I wanted to give it a try, and this is what resulted. Oh boy, today is definitely, it's a weird bright day. The clouds are out, but it's kind of washing things out. Let me show you first the color of the fabric. So that's probably much closer to the pink. I didn't go, I went with lighter pinks and lighter teals rather than the really bright pink and teal that you can also see sometimes for decorating. So that's out. Now let's bring it up close. This is 3810 that I used. And I continued with this segment right here and then did some more of the border. I'm finding a way, I think, doing this section of it and then that section of the border is going to make it go really fast. So I'm working each way as I do more of these Blueberry Ridges, or the other one is the Summer House Stitch, the 4-piece series I'm doing there, that I'm learning with some of these borders how to break it down to make it stitch a little faster. But I'm really enjoying this stitch, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see it again, certainly before the month is out, and then more as the season comes. It's not going to get finished. I don't think I have. Here we go. Stitch count is 149 by 172. Somebody asked me, was I going to stitch the bottom part? And I do think in this case I will. I do not always stitch alphabets. I do not always, stitch the entire piece. As you can see, I'm going to probably, change the Modern Folk. But I really do like that, and I love the element here. So I do think I'm going to keep this one entirely, but that means it is 149 by 172. The model was stitched on the 36 count, which is basically the same as my 18. So stitch size is 8.3 by 9.6. So clearly there's a lot of stitching not going to be done by this year. That's all right. Did I tell you this is 18 count Doting Dora from Those Missing Stitches? I might have. I feel like it, but because I feel like I said the words Those Missing Stitches, but I have said that already today, so could have just been repeat that way. But yeah, if you've thought about this one and you want to see it in the traditional color scheme, which is beautiful, Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner is stitching this as well with me. Mary and I are stitching a whole bunch. We've got 2 planned in September and 1 October 1st. And who else what knows between then and now of patterns we find. So if you want to join Mary and I, please do so. We would love to see what you would like, what do. And, if you want to see again, Mary, I wish we lived so close enough that we could show them together, because it'll be so neat when they're done to see kind of the different vibes. But definitely, actually, Mary's going to be already down because she's doing the butterflies with me as well. But check out when she shows it. She sent me a picture when she started it. It's beautiful, so pretty. Alrighty, so that is my Christmas stitching this week. Like I said, I've got that other double piece that I want to work on. I'm going to start pulling other pieces out. I think I'm going to try to get another band from the Christmas band sampler done, just to move that along. That one I really would like to get done by Christmas this year, and it's doable. I take a quick. Today it is just water. It is this whole week it's been very, very hot, humid, and dew points in the 80s again. So the feels like temperatures are in over 100. Mo went out to in our little porch this morning to water our lemon tree and then our basil plants, and I think it was reading 84 degrees in there with high humidity. So, and that was at like 7:30 in the morning. You can kind of get. There has been no tea the last couple of days. I have just been drinking water. And then I had a few hot flashes in, and it all just goes downhill from there. But I'm still not giving up summer for winter. I'm sorry, winter fans, give me this over cold weather any day. All right, so let's move on to some other pieces that I've worked on this week. This one, friends, is gonna get the better of me. July's Delphinium, and is from Cottage Garden Samplings. And you know, if you've been around, each month I've been working on finishing these. These were started 2 years ago. And so I have now been each month trying my very best to get them done in that month. This one is gonna beat me. I'm not gonna get it. So first I spent some time figuring out what to do the alphabet in. I was not gonna do the 2 colors. One of the colors that was called for, I think was a variegated, but you know, then they gave the DMC alternative, and it's not part of the color scheme at all. So I was like, no, I'm throwing that out. And then the other color I've debated on, I'm not really sure yet, with the pink. I'm leaning towards the pink. So I spent a lot of time figuring that out. I was thinking, let me show you, in the end, I pulled out for variegated something. What did I hope I have it because I don't remember what it was. Oh, here it is. It was a color in cotton. Let me just pull this out of here. See what you think. I was looking at different pinks and purples, and I was trying to find one that kind of leaned a little bit towards both of those. And I was thinking of House Wine from Classic Colorworks. I know it's similar to this, but that's you know, you want something that's kind of going along these themes. I think none of the purples really vibed with me because these are blue purples, and a lot of the purples I have are not that kind of vibe. So that's my thought. So first I took a bunch of time doing this. Then I said, you know what? I'm going to get the pink flowers done. And then boom, I'll do the purple flowers the next week, and then words, we'll be all done. Yeah, no, these pink flowers and the purple themselves as well have 5 different colors in them. 5. And then the small pieces have 4. So as you can see, that's a lot of stitching. The greenery, I really want to do this, but that's going to be so easy because that's a solid stitch that I'm kind of making myself go and do the flowers. I will continue to work on this. So we have today's the 18th, 18 plus 13, right? So I have 13 more days, maybe 14 if you count today, I don't know. You'll see this with the next 2 videos, but I really would be surprised if this one's done by the end of July. What I might do then is I'll put it aside unless it comes out for a challenge, and I have August, September, October. The finished pieces start with November. So I will work on each of them in their months. If I finish something early, maybe I pull this out, or November and December, I go back and I finish this one. But it is a hard goal that I do want to get these ones finished by the end of 2025. This is 18 count Cendre Blue from To Die For Fabrics. And we are very close. August 1st is the start date for To Die For Fabrics to come back. She is posting colors after colors on her Facebook page. It is going to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rainbow of colors in her shop when she reopens. I can't wait to see what she's got. So you will see this. And I know in June I said, I'm not sure I'm going to finish it, but there was a lot less to do than there is here. The border is completely done, which, you know, sometimes the borders are a bit more difficult, or I've changed them or whatever. So that's not an issue, but those flowers, I think they're gonna beat me. All right, next. This one is Jardin Privé, and this is Gentleman Quaker. I will do both. I just started with Gentleman Quaker. And here we are. This is what it looks like. Now, I did use, if you remember, I just want to bring you up to speed. I did choose a fabric that's going to work for both of them. And I'm not sure if I'm doing pinks or purples for the, what is it called? My Ladies Quaker. You can see down there. I don't know what the accent color is going to be. So I wanted to go something more neutrally, and this is a really pretty neutral. This is Benevolent Buttercup from Those Missing Stitches. 18 count, and I bet you pretty much everything would look good on this, to be honest with you. So Lynn, great neutral color for pretty much everything. Now this one is an experiment too of sorts for me. I played around with, you know how I did fish and chips with the white floche, and so, you know, and I've done other things with floche. I am doing other things with floche, and I really like it. So I decided that I wanted to try this one with the floche. Let me pull out what else I'm doing. Here we go, the blue. I have all sorts of floss in here for my colors for the Lady Quaker. Oh, I do have my Lady Quaker in here. I could have shown you that. And so I decided I wanted to try an experiment to see how the DMC floche, this is what it looks like when it's cut. It usually comes in a round circular, you know, kind of piece. It's been cut down and I pull a single strand and I use it. So this is single stranded. It's thicker than your regular 6-strand DMC. And this is Classic Colorworks Summer Sky. And when I do 18 count for everything except for things like the floche, I do 2 strands. So there's think of this as like a double-stranded use of DMC. It's not DMC, but you know, you get the point. And then the single-stranded floche. I was curious if there would be a huge difference between the 1 and the 2. And when you look at it, and maybe if you put your face right up to it, well, I'd have to take my glasses off and do that, which I can't see that close anyway, so you know, there's the plus there. But if you look at it from a distance, I don't see myself a difference between the thickness of a 2-strand variegated, or I would assume 2-strand DMC, and the 1-stranded floche. So I'm really liking that idea. So if I just wanted to do 1 strand of a black somewhere in a pattern, I can use the floche. Again, I was just finishing, I was trying to say segments or elements, and neither word was coming out. I didn't completely finish this Quaker element. I did, oh no, I've got a little bit of the flower yet to do. I basically was filling in a bunch of things and adding more. Nothing specific. But I am a big fan of Jardin Privé's Quakers. If you've been here, you know that. And I really do like doing them. So I think this one will be fun. I will most definitely make this one a 2-piece collection in the scrapbook, and excited to see the 2 of them next to each other finished. Okay, oops, put that tag in here so we know that it's part of the Classic Colors. All right, next, I can't remember why I pulled this out. I think there was a reason. Oh, maybe it was for categories, was it? You know, it wasn't. I could have used this one as pattern title. Categories is a Whip Warriors event. Whip Warriors is a closed group, challenge group on Facebook. They open up usually mid-November. And one of their monthly games is categories. And I don't officially play it on the site. I just do it in my challenge book and by myself. But the letters were A and W. And so they change the letters. They keep the prompts each month. And one of the prompts always is pattern title. And I could have used this one, but totally forgot about it. Jan Hicks, Arabesque. And this is a fun one that is also really lends itself to personalization. Ironically, mine looks almost like the cover, to be honest with you, which is unusual for me. If you would like to see Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, or Paula stitching in high heels, they are both also stitching this piece, but completely different from each other and completely different than me. So, I mean, floss colors, adding more than just monochromatic fabric. There's so many options. Now that called to me just as is. And so in the end, I actually decided to keep it pretty close to the original. And here I am. This is 18 count. It's an unknown. It didn't have a tag on it. It's, you know, just a very, very pale gray. I'm not sure that's going to come across in the camera today because all the colors are a little bit blown out. I am using, I think it's Elven Wine. Let me see. Stitchy Stuff Co. No, yeah, Stitchy Stuff Co. Floss, hand dyed. What does it say? Elven Wine, yeah. Now, this element, oh my goodness, this thing is humongous. I finally finished it. I'm so excited. So that got a chunk of my time to get that completely done. I did some more letters. And then I ran out of time because I think I was going to come down here. You can see we've got two major elements to this piece. We have this right here and we have this down here. After that, you know, there's small pieces, alphabet, and a bottom border. That will be probably super quick once I get this last big element done. So I think that's potentially where I want to go next when I bring this one out. This one comes out just every once in a while, and I really like it. I think I started it last September, so we are coming up on a year. Clearly won't get done by the 1-year anniversary. I have not been one, I've always been curious whether or not to kind of pull things out in the month that they were started, just to give them a little work. Maybe that'll be a 2026 kind of plan, so that some of these will get extra work in their birthday month, so to speak. Maybe by next September it could be finished, because I have a paper pattern, so I don't have this one in Pattern Keeper. I have no idea my percentages, but I'm enjoying it. I like it. That big motif was just, I wanted to get it done. It's so beautiful, but it was never ending. So I'm really happy that I got it done. All right, so this next piece, and I'm going to write down because I'm going to direct you to somebody if you want to see it finished. It looks so cool. Let me go back. I started this one last year on my birthday, part of my pumpkin birthday stitch along in October. And ironically, there's no pumpkins on it, but the fabric is pumpkin colored. This is Witch's Hollow. Most of you know who I'm going to mention if you follow her. Helen D. got it finished, and it is so, so cool. I'm at like 10%. Maybe a slight bit more, but not much. So I pulled this one out on the 13th for kind of dark 13 Halloween stitching. So, and usually I pull out more than one piece. I was like so inspired by watching Helen get near the end of the stitching that I said, I am just going to do this one and do it all, no other Halloween stitching that day. And this is the one I did. And yeah, it doesn't look like much, but this is the true full coverage part of it. I think I got 600 or 700 stitches in, to be perfect. Nah, I'm probably closer to 6. Let me see if I go back to the 13th, if I can see. No, 700. Yeah. I know. I finished off working over here. I did the witch flying. I'm starting to get into the moon. You can't really see it. There is some yellow there that once the moon fills it in. I did some more over here and filled in a bunch of purples. Did some down this way as well. A little bit, like as usual, a little bit of everything. This is 18 count genuine Gillian from Those Missing Stitches. Very cool color. And I think it'll be perfect because the orange is what shows through at different parts of the picture. So that will be really fun. This is the other one that I flirted with putting in as part of my 4-piece rotation. So maybe next time around, I will throw this one in on that rotation for the 500 stitches for the week and see if that feels good throwing it in that rotation or if I still want to do something else as well. Or I can switch them out like I do with my Focus event piece for Whip Warriors. Who knows? Either way, they'll be getting some work done, so that's exciting. So that's what it looks like. I don't want to just focus on the 13th on it because then that will mean all the other pumpkin or Halloweenish sort of pieces I have won't get any work done. So, and finally, the last piece I have, I can't remember why this one came out. Was this one of categories? Let me see. Oh, yes, the season. Autumn was the season, and so that was the letter A. And this is Sampler Seasons Autumn from Blueberry Ridge. Lots of Blueberry Ridge going on right now. This one I'm really enjoying. Mary did stitch this one, Mary Stitching Quarter, and has it finished. I know Mary and I have plans to stitch all of them. Mary will probably start the next one before I do at this rate because I still want to get this one finished before I start another season. I mean, I have all those other ones going. So this one is, I am using a variegated floss for it. Let me see. another Stitchy Stuff Co. It is a Stitchy Stuff Co. Week this week too. Let me see what color it is. Oh, Fire Lily. Okay. Alrighty. And I went a little bit deeper and kind of browner than the original. And the original is stitched with kind of like a brown floss. And I decided to really lean into the idea of autumn colors. And so, as you can see, the Fire Lily, sorry, is, you know, kind of a variegation of bright to light oranges. This is 18 count Dragon's Lair from Bestitchme. And generally, I don't generally use colors like a brown like this, but I think it looks fantastic with this. And again, you've got that variegation, or modeling, I should say, which feels like it's going to be a lot. But I think once it's covered with some stitching, and then obviously we're going to be cutting this down. So I always feel like it's a little overwhelming when you see the whole piece. But, you know, once you've got that, I think it'll be a background nicely. And I did, you know, I was kind of proud of myself. I got some more of this pumpkin. It's a massive pumpkin, and there is a cool design in here, so you do have to really pay attention. I did some of that, but my eyes weren't really seeing that well. So I jumped over on this side, and I almost got the house completely done. I did border. So this is the edge. There's a little bit over here, if you can see, just a little bit tiny more, but for the most part, this is almost as wide as it's going to be. And then I did some extra elements over here as well. So I did quite a bit of different little motifs, but it's really interesting. It's a good size piece for being on 18 count. So think a little bit wider here, and then that bottom is the bottom. But I looked at it and I said, wow, that's bigger than I thought it would be. I'm not sure. That might work sideways picture size in the scrapbook, because this is obviously, I'll do all the seasons. Yeah. If I do it in 8.5 by 11, which is what this size is, those pages will be sideways. Otherwise, I could probably do it in a 12 by 12, and we'll see what that looks like. They'll each have to have their own page, though, because I think this is, does it tell me? On 40 count, yeah, 6.2 is the tall side. So obviously on 18, it would be more than that. So yeah, I couldn't put 2 of these on a 12 by 12 page. But there it is. That's it. All done. Yay. Well, not done, but you know, done for this week. So that's my stitching. That's what I did this week. And look at that. We are well below an hour at this point. I might have a quick video this week. So what are my plans? First, I need a drink of water. Excuse me. Oh gosh, please. I hope you are drinking. If it's very hot where you are, please make sure you're drinking lots and lots and lots of liquids. You don't even know how much water you're losing. So please do so. Okay. So this weekend is Whip Frenzy in Whip Warriors, which is basically, again, I'm only doing it unofficially, and it's going to be less probably accomplished this week for me because we have a full house. So I won't get as much stitching done. But so basically what Frenzy is, you take as many pieces as you can and stitch 100 stitches, and then 100-ish stitches, and then move on and keep rotating through all of your projects, or as many of your projects. Obviously, I could never do all of them in a weekend. It started officially for me last night at 8 p.m., but I generally don't usually ever start it till Friday. It is coinciding with, 24 hours of cross stitch, which is this weekend. That was something that was started by Jen Lee, and she does it 4 times, I think, a year. And it's morphed into a bunch of things now, whatever works for you. I look at it as Friday, Saturday, Sunday sort of deal, 24 hours, which I've never gotten. And I don't keep track of time anyway. So I kind of do think, 100 stitches per hour, just as that's what's generally thought of for games. So can I get 2,400 stitches in, which I won't this weekend probably, but, I just kind of combined them. I think in my page, I have a page listed for it. Nothing fancy, to be honest with you. It literally just says Whip Frenzy 24 hours of cross stitch. I might list all of them and list how much I stitched and then see for the weekend how much I got in. So there's that. But we'll see. This weekend is Midsummer. Oh, is it called Midsummer Magic? I don't even know what it's called. It's one of the Lindy Stitch events, like Jingle Ball and Spring Mingle and all those. I did not buy a ticket. I don't think I'm going to attend. Like I said, I have a full house. And so if I'm stitching, it will be kind of with other people, you know, kind of chatting or whatever, or just not enough to kind of jump on and do it. So I thought about it, but because, you know, it's not super expensive, it's very affordable, but I decided in the end I'm going to skip this one. I'm almost sure she's doing one in September, so I'll just look towards that one as a possibility instead. So I will not see anybody this weekend at the Midsummer Ball, whatever it's called. I really do enjoy them. I really like the designer chats. Those are always fun. This one in August highlights Flosstubers, and there were some fun ones to have meet and greets with this time around, but you know, it is the way it is. So I will not be seeing you there. I will continue with my Christmas pieces this week because I do want to at least once touch all of my Christmas projects, which were more than I realized, to be honest with you. To be fair, I also started to this month. Oh, and then I'm going to start looking at my projects. I don't know, Kenny Stitches, let me write down Kenny. I saw it announced on Instagram, on his Instagram. He had a really cool idea for August, and it's the Abandoned Sal, which basically, I mean, we all have projects that we've started with other people. Some of them, I mean, at this point, because of hashtags being kind of wonky, some of my stitches with people have hashtags, some don't. But I know what I'm stitching kind of with other people, so they're not abandoned in my mind. It's not like, the only one that I would say that I didn't keep up with that was a drop every week is the Empyrean Sal. But most of them, it's just more of like, oh, what am I stitching with other people? I'm going to grab my list and I'm going to pull out all of the pieces that I am stitching with other people that I can remember and maybe try to get some stitches into all of them this month. This coming up month, which is August. Depends on how many there are, if that's possible. But I might give it a try. I'll give it my best effort. And I figure I need the 2 weeks almost to figure that out because there's probably quite a few. Are you doing that as well? I think it's kind of a fun idea for August, and good on Kenny for thinking of it. And like I said, a lot of us have all of these projects that we've started, and abandoned is a strong word, but I'll just go with it and run with it and just, you know, work within that type of thing. So that's kind of fun. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what's out there. And of course, there's always plans for new starts too. Maybe we start a couple with friends during that month as well. So those are the plans there. All right, so mail. We've got more trading cards coming in. I want to say this week was the coolest week. I want to say there was 4 different countries that came in internationally. So that's very, very neat. I'm really, really kind of cool, you know, kind of excited about that idea that we have more international people participating as well. And thank you for those of you internationally taking the chance. And like I do every week, I'm going to tell which ones came in. Obviously, it's less now that we're getting near the end of the month. I will not do a flip through or show and tell until the very end of July, if not right at the beginning of August. So if you've mailed it and it hasn't come to me, don't worry. We're still waiting on it. You haven't missed out on anything. If you mailed it, say, the beginning of July, and you are, especially like US versus international, and I have not said your name, that means I have not received it. And if you are starting to get concerned, just let me know that I can keep an eye out on it, and I'll let you know. Unfortunately, there's usually one that does get lost almost always. Sometimes it comes back to me or the sender, or comes back to the sender, goes back to the sender, and sometimes it gets to me, and sometimes they're in some sort of void that I don't know where they are. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they will all get to me as needed. All right, so Annette R, we got it. Very nice. Karen D came in very quickly, I think. I don't see what the date is here, but yeah, faster than I thought it would come in. Andrea, it came, and thank you very much, Mo. Loved that little extra you sent in. He said to say thank you. He really appreciated that. Make sure there's nothing on the back that has addresses. Kim R, yours came. Oh, here's an address, so I want to cover that. My international friends usually like to do the addresses on the back, which is really kind of cool. Tanya, yours came. Yay! And then Sue, yours came too. Yay! So, very neat. The International Postal Service has been on their game. So far, so good. Alrighty, so those are the ones that came in this week. And like I said, I will continue to do this through the end of waiting for all of them to come in. I'll do the show and tell. We'll do the swaps, and then they'll go out to you. And again, fingers crossed they get to everybody, because again, sometimes they get lost along the way. Alrighty, shopping. This week I have fabric, which I know you're like, really? And yes, fabric is, I don't know, that's what I just find joy in. You know how we were talking about how there's the two hobbies, right? There's stitching cross-stitch patterns and collecting cross-stitch patterns. And I mean, I have my fair share of patterns, don't get me wrong. And some of them I may never stitch, but I'll probably eventually just kind of clear up some space and not keep them as a collection. But for me, fabric, I stitch on fabric, and then I think to collect fabric. I think it's the colors and all of the, I just love all of that. And I always seem to have visions in my head of what color I want to stitch things on. And you know, the more colors I have, the more options I have. So yeah, we've got fabric. All right, so Bestitchme had a ready to ship event, and I generally like to jump in on those because usually you get them pretty quickly. And I'm never around at the start of the fight nights, or she did one on Saturday morning this month. And so these ready to ship, you know, you get the email or whatever, and it tells you what time it's going to start. So then you know. Well, she had a new blue. So you knew, of course, that I was going to check as soon as it started because I wanted the blue was pretty. And I got it. 18 count, not your denim jacket. Look at that blue. I think this would be kind of cool if I wanted to do another one of the long dog. You know, I have fish and chips. I don't know what fabric that is, so there's no way I'm ever replicating that fabric for any of the other in the series. But this one might be kind of a cool one to do as well. I think that would be really pretty. Stitch white on this. I think it would be gorgeous. Really, a lot of kind of oceany things would be kind of cool on this one. So that one is a new color for Bestitchme. I think it is in her line though, and it's not your denim jacket. The other thing I picked up was, I thought this would be kind of fun for a Halloweenish. It's called Wicked Sprout, 18 count as well. Isn't that neat? Now, some of you know that on, let me show you the picture. July 31st, Karen, Stitching Out, and I are starting, and anybody is welcome if you'd like to join us, Snack-O-Lantern from Boomerang Stitches. I have two options. One, I'm really thinking about, Melanie, right? Melanie from Uplift Stitches. I think Melanie said she was gonna, I'm gonna write down Melanie's name. I think she said she was gonna start it as well, because she was thinking similar colors with the purples with me, but I think a purple would be awesome. Really, really cool. The other thing I could potentially see is something like this one. I might change the color of the bowl because it might clash with this, but that's an option. I don't know. I do love purple though. I am a purple girl, so that may win out in the end, but I think I'm going to pull some purples, keep this Wicked Sprout, and do a floss toss on that one. But if you'd like to join us, July 31st, we were gonna do kind of like, you know, the 31st is kind of a nod to Halloween. And then I had told you, so at the start of every quarter, so 4 times a year, Lynn from Those Missing Stitches puts out some, she rotates some of the quarterly and monthly colors in her Etsy shop, but she also puts out new colors for that quarter. And it's like my favorite time of the quarter is the first day I go and I check, and I invariably buy some of them because she's a very talented with colors. And so I got 3 of the 4. She usually puts out 4 colors, and it always seems like I'm always like, I'm just gonna pick 3. I'm only gonna get 3, and that's what I did. This first one is called Bashful Beth. All of the names come from book characters because she is an avid reader. Isn't that pretty? Is very, today's not a great day for showing colors. I mean, obviously it's a neutral, but there is some very mild, beautiful modeling on this one. Really, really pretty. So I picked that one up. Like I said, all 18 count. And Lynn's fabrics are 18 by 29, so you get a nice, good size with these. Then usually this quarter, she does she does colors with the eye towards Halloween stitching. And so we have a couple of colors that are more kind of Halloween-ish. This one could be a lot of things, though. It's not a bright orange. It's called Hardy Hester. I think it certainly could be. But you know what? Like if you were... This one's probably a bit more orangey than the one that I used for Heron at Dawn. But I bet you the Heron at Dawn would look really good on this one. Now this is the 18 count, remember. So there'd be a lot of things that could, anything if you want like a kind of sunset-y sort of look to it, or sunrisey or whatever, you could probably get away with using this. So it's not just a Halloween color. However, it would look good for Halloween stuff as well. So love that. And then the last one is she did put out a purple, which is cool. I don't know if this would be the purple I would use. I would pull out all my purples for Snack-o-lantern. Sassy Sophia. Isn't that one cool? There we go. Then you can see. And again, as usual, the modeling is stronger in the camera than it is in person. It's a nice, subtle kind of modeling. But isn't that pretty? Really, really pretty. Really lovely. I like that purple. So as usual, Lynn hit it out of the park with her colors. And then she always sends, really cool, she always sends some stickers, which always go into either my challenge books, or a lot of times, you know where they go into my stitching planner. So we got some stickers, and Lynn knows that I like dragons. So she always has like another little thing that, and this one is a needle minder. It's a dragon. How awesome is that? So cool. So, so yeah, that was my shopping. It was a very colorful, look at this. Talk about colorful. If I hold it sideways, orange, Roy, yellow, G, green, blue, indigo. I do everything on the Roy G. Biv spectrum. Look at those colors. Look at how beautiful that is this time around. Ah, so many options. Okay, that's it. That's the shopping. I was talking with some friends yesterday, and I think October 1st, if you were thinking ahead, we were going to do this pumpkin and crow because it's small enough. And I think I'm just going to do, I don't think I'm doing all of the extras or the bottom border or anything. So I think it'd be really quick, but it's a small piece, so it'll probably be quick. I know Mary said she was on board to doing that with me on October 1st. That designer on Etsy has a few other ones that are smalls that are super, super cute. So I might pick a few others of those up, and maybe we have like a generalized sal for that designer or something. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure I told you last week. If I go real quick to Etsy, I can tell you who the designer is. My Lovely Embroidery NB. I'm almost sure it's in last week's video that where I say, and the sale has 2 more days to it. So, yeah, super cute. One of my favorites, actually. If I go, that I thought was super. I was originally thinking, oh, just the bunny, but then I saw the hedgehog, and you can actually get the 2 of them as a set. Look at those. They're both with strawberries. Aren't they adorable? I have a feeling those are going to jump into my cart. Anyway, if you want to join, let me know. I was thinking, Linda, I was thinking maybe for the octopus in the beginning of the Love Poppet one, beginning of August. Let me know if that works for you. Okay, so that is shopping. If that's all you're here for stitching stuff, then thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to hang out here. I do have a book that I did read this week, and then I just have some life stuff. So if life and reading and all that is not your jam, no worries. I hope you have a great week. Alrighty, so life. I did have a little bit of a setback with my physical therapy work. Fairly substantial flare-up Saturday, Sunday into Monday. I adjusted a few things, changed everything, and the physical therapist had kind of adjusted things, so we're doing pretty good as we hit Friday now, as it's Friday compared to the beginning of the week. So that is a big relief, and I'm still trying to strengthen and do the strengthening with the weights now, but doing it with different type of rest for the muscles than I was doing before. So hopefully this will work. Though that was kind of an up and down sort of week with that, but you know, it is the way it is. This week was mammogram week. Please remember, if you were up for one, I was a couple months late. I will not lie. I think I was about 3 months overdue. But I did it. I got it done. And it's just one of those things that, you know, please, if you are overdue, please go get yours done. Okay. Other than that, it was a pretty quiet week. It's busy now because I have a house full. It's Mo's birthday on Monday. Yay! I actually have a dentist appointment at 7:30 on Monday. So I'm like, well, honey, you're not sleeping in for your birthday because I am up and out at like 7:15. Oh well, it was the appointment available. And I do like an early dentist appointment. Go get it done, be done for the day. So we do have a full house, and I'm looking forward to hopefully some nice weather and some just fun kind of family times. So we'll see. But my book, let me tell you about my book. Well, I read and I listened. So I listened to the second book in the Ladies Guide series by, I believe it's Diane Freeman. I told you last week about the first book. Second book, just as good. I've got the third one. I went to my Libby app, and I think my book there's a book that came out this year, but up before that one, I think my Libby Libby app has all of them up to this last one, which is great. So I can keep listening to them, but somebody else has it right now, so it's on hold. And then I got the second half of the Sarah J. Maas the ACOTAR series. Second book, I think, is a court, I don't know, is it Mist and Fury? I'm not sure. Whatever book it is, no, I think that's the last book. Whatever the second book is, the graphic audios are broken up into part 1 and part 2. I love graphic audio for fantasy because you get a full cast and all the, you know, the background noise and everything else. So I always really like those, especially after I've read the book. So I already kind of know the storyline. So I am, that's probably good that the mystery book was not available, because I got to get this one finished so I can return it, and then I can get the next one when it's available to me. But then I also did read a book. I started listening to this one, and this one is, remember last week, was it last week? No, it was a couple weeks ago, where I talked about kind of the gentle kind of book. That was a contemporary kind of summer read. This one, there's a category which I didn't realize. You know how I really like cozy mystery? Well, there's a category of books called cozy fantasy. And this one is part of that. It's a cozy fantasy is the genre that this one falls into. And it's called The Spell Shop. And it is from Sarah Beth Durst. I have no idea. I want to say it was probably an email from, say, Barnes & Noble or one of those places of books that I saw the name of it, because I really don't know where I would have seen the name otherwise. And like I said, I started listening to it, and it was good, but I kind of, I wanted to read it instead. The way it flowed, or the gentleness of it, I wasn't getting the full effect of it from listening to it. So I did get the book from my library, and I finished reading it that way. And so it is fantasy. I mean, you've got there's magic. Magic is, you know, obviously it's called the spell shop. Magic is part of the world. You've got characters that are different kind of magical beings. She is the main character. She is a librarian at like kind of the city, but she lived in a, when she was born in one of the outer islands way away from the city. And magic is involved with helping things with the outer islands and especially with the city. And she was a librarian who really didn't, she lived, breathed, slept, ate in this library. Like she didn't have friends except for a magical plant. And so she really wasn't good with people, and she liked her life. There was kind of an uprising. That was probably the most like action that you'll see. There's a little bit more later on, but not really. This is a very kind of gentle, calm sort of book in a lot of ways. And so she flees with her plant and some of the books that she can save, because that's everything that, you know, to her, books are everything. And she ends up going back to where she was born, and the cabin and the house where she was living in when she was a child was still there. And, you know, it obviously was her parents and now is hers. And so she learns how to open up to other people and how to not be a solitary being and how to care for others and be a part of a community, all the while trying to help this community in any way she can. And there's a little bit of magic sort of not supposed to be in there, and you know, that kind of stuff and everything else. It's a very cute book. Like I said, cozy is the perfect description of it. I think when I was reading the kind of the afterword from the author, when she was talking about the acknowledgments, what did she say? I wanted to write a book that felt like a warm hug. And it is a very cozy sort of book. She actually has a new book out, a second one, kind of, I don't know if I want to call it a series, a very peripheral character that is mentioned in this book, but you never see this person, is the main character in the second book. So I don't get the sense that there will be any crossover, but there will still be some ideas of that. I don't know for a fact because I haven't read it. I don't know if it's actually available, but I think it's coming out anytime now. And I don't remember what it's called. But Sarah Beth Durst, if that is something of interest of you. I liked it. I enjoyed it, and I will definitely read the second book as soon as my library gets it. Maybe I'll put in I'll see if they, you know, are they expecting, they must be expecting copies if they had this one. So that's my book recommendation for the week. And then, like I said, if you like cozy mysteries, the Ladies Guide series is a fun one. It's a historical sort of cozy mystery. And we all know, the Sarah J. Maas, did you hear? Book 6. She put on Instagram that the first draft of book 6 of ACOTAR is finished, and obviously then the whole editing portion of it, but it is very close. I did not read the Crescent City series, so I guess I need to, because I guess there is a crossover. So before book 6 is done, I guess I'll have to read those. Let me know. I think there is, but let me know if I need to. But yeah, that was exciting because I thought the series was done. I mean, it kind of ended like it was done, but I don't know. All right, so that's it. That's all I got. I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. Please take care of yourself, and always remember that you matter. You are important, and that is just take a moment, take a breath, and you are enough. All right. Until next time, happy stitching.